Harmony back with another queer history fact, this time about the first protest that was held in Canada. So on August 28th,
Use this feature. Please make sure
1971,
your app is running and can access the internet.
the speaker is saying weird things. On August 28th, 1971, the first gay rights protest was held on Parliament Hill in Ottawa, Ontario. The Gay Rights Liberation Protest and March was named We Demand. It was sponsored by 12 of the earliest gay liberation and lesbian feminist movements. People from Toronto, Montreal, Ottawa, and surrounding areas bussed in. They were joined by a smaller group of about 20 who gathered in Vancouver, BC, held simultaneously for protesters in the West Coast who couldn't travel all the way to Ottawa. And I'll put a picture up that is an image of, it looks like 5 protesters. There's the infamous lion from back then it was the Vancouver City Courthouse, but now it's the Art Gallery. And there's signs that are like gay alliance, toward equality, repeal anti-gay laws now, and I can't read the other one. But yeah, and I also put a poster up, or I will put a poster up, that what I did put towards the end of the last history moment, but it's the poster that advertised for people to come out to this rally, and it says, "Come out and join us, Canadian Gay Rally. You are not alone. Demand your rights." And then the details: Saturday, August 28th at 3 p.m. Parliament Hill, Ottawa. Okay, so the date of this protest, August 28th, was chosen because it was the second anniversary year of the Criminal Code Amendment that partially decriminalized homosexuality. In the first history moment, I talked about then Premier Trudeau enacting legislation that decriminalized homosexuality. So this was 2 years after that. The location was chosen to be the Parliament building in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada's capital city, because the protesters had hopes of influencing federal lawmakers, not just provincial ones. Ottawa is the capital, holds all the government bodies that make the laws, and federal law means it's applied to all of Canada, so is a lot more effective or meaningful or important than provincial law. Legal stuff, really, that was my special interest for a really long time. I even worked in the field for 10 years, but yeah, don't mind me when I go off and geek out about law and history and all that. So We Demand, it was a 13-page document that was given to the government demanding an end to discriminatory state legislation, and we'll go over the 10 demands in a second here. I put up another photo. This is a black and white photo that shows half a dozen protesters marching in the rain with banners that read "Toronto Gay Action" and "Canada True North Strong and Fee." And it looks like there's people in the middle that are protesting and people that are off to the side with umbrellas kind of walking alongside. Another image I can put up is of a newspaper article with the headline, "Gay Protest Marks a First for the Hill." And there is content in there, but I can't read it. Hey, does anybody want to help me dictate a newspaper article? Let me know. Roll into my DMs. Oh yeah, I have this really cool image as well. Okay, so Charlie Hill, of the Toronto Gay Action Organization, he's the one who read the steps out loud on the steps of Parliament Hill, or the steps of the Parliament building, rather. Charlie Hill was not the one scheduled to read these, but the man who was scheduled to read them was in a car accident on the way to the rally, so they asked Charles to step in. The dude was okay, he just couldn't get to the rally in time. So when the demands were read, Charles said, "We wanted to publicize the demands we wanted for legal change. A lot of people, either gay or non-gay, thought that there were no legal issues for gays. That was nonsense. Gay or non-gay." I think I'm going to start calling heterosexual people non-gay. I like that. Yeah, and I think a lot of people think that gay rights have already been achieved. We can marry who we want. We can access things like spousal pension and life insurance. We have protection under the law, and I say that with a lot of, doubt, because things have gone backwards in provinces like Alberta and Saskatchewan. So if we think that Canada has done its fight for gay rights, for trans rights, we definitely have not. Okay, and an image that I can put up shows the We Demand brief featured in the body politic. Again, this is lots of content, but if I get it big enough and someone is able to use eyes that don't have visual impairments like mine, then that would be rad to know what this article and write-up actually says. There are two images in the post. In one, there's people under a group of umbrellas and signs with a protest sign that reads Toronto Gay Action and Equal Rights for Gay People. And the other photo shows Charles kind of in the middle of people and umbrellas reciting the rights. Okay, I also have a video and audio clip of Charlie's speech. So I'm going to go ahead and try and add it here. And if I can't add it here, I apologize.
Canadian homosexuals are having their careers ruined, being kicked out of their churches, having their children taken away from them, and being assaulted in the streets of our own cities. We're fed up with the lack of basic respect due all human beings. We're fed up with having to hide to preserve our jobs. We're fed up with having to hide to preserve our own freedom. What have we done to deserve this? Love. All we want to do is love persons of the same sex and live our lives as we decide for ourselves.
Okay, so I was either able to add it or not, but back now. Also turn the lights on and realize that I'm in like my candy boxers, my official work uniform. Okay, so the 10 demands made during the We Demand rally were, number one, the removal of the terms gross indecency and indecent acts from the Criminal Code of Canada, terms that were used to criminalize homosexuality. The removal of gross indecency and buggery as grounds for an indictment as a, quote, dangerous sex offender. And I will go back. Number three, a uniform age of consent for homosexual and heterosexual acts. Number four of the demands was amendments to the Immigration Act, which prohibited homosexuals from entering Canada and applying as immigrants or permanent residents. And that was talked about in the last two videos, the purges. I think it's in part 2 of the purge one, so you can go back and watch that if you want. Also for the removal of homosexualism as a restriction to applying for status as an immigrant or permanent resident. I enjoy that word, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Definitely gonna look more into it, but I mean, isms are usually awful and oppressive and all of that, but homosexualism, if I can like reclaim that to be like an element of my personality, I feel like definitely I'm very queer. And so anyways, yeah. Sorry, still trying to figure out my footing on recording these, so realize that this one again is not going to make the 10-minute mark, and just kind of laughing to myself because I'm still going on and on. So number 5 of the demands was the right to equal employment and promotion at all levels of government. Number 6 was amendments to the Divorce Act of 1968 that listed homosexuality in the same category as physical or mental cruelty as grounds for divorce. So even now in Canada, like you can cite reasons for a divorce. I think probably one of them is being cheated on, and another one is being kind of in an abusive situation. And I think now, like anyways, not to go further into this, but as a divorcee, I know some of the stuff. And it's like a way to apply for divorce before the 12 month period of living apart is usually how long you have to spend before you file for divorce. But if there's categories that are named in the Divorce Act, then you don't have to wait the 12 months. You can apply for divorce literally the day you leave your spouse. The 7th one is to stop discriminating against gays and lesbian parents by denying them custody rights. Number 8, to know whether as a part of the national campaigns that began in the 50s. See you in next video. I'm so sorry I can't. Okay, number 8, to know whether as part of the national campaigns that began in the 50s that we talked about in other videos, or I talked about in other videos, to know whether it was part of the RCMP's practice to spy on homosexuals in the federal government in order to fire them, and if this was done to end this practice and destroy all records of same. Fuck yeah. Number 9, the ask was to give gays, lesbians, and bisexuals the right to serve in the armed forces. I also did a video about that. It was in the purges. So yeah, gays and lesbians were restricted from serving. Women like Michelle Douglas were discharged with their official released papers stating that they were not advantageously employed due to homosexuality. Again, why do I want all of these on t-shirts or tattoos? So happy Pride. See you.